Buckle up. Welcome to Hannity. Let me give you a quick headline. The details will follow. Nobody else will report. The Mueller witch hunt is completely over. It is done. Nobody listened to the Attorney General. And, yeah, the Attorney General admitted today everything we've reported the last 2 years, full criminal investigations are now just beginning. Imagine that. A talk show host is right, and so many in the fake news industry are wrong. We'll get to all of it. But first, breaking just moments ago, the Attorney General Barr will not head back to Capitol Hill tomorrow to be grilled by Jerry Nadler's lawyers because he's too weak to question him himself. And tonight, of course, predictably, more breathless hysteria, selective moral outrage from the left. They are desperately trying to revive what is now a dead, fake, phony narrative that's finished. They are wrong. They were wrong. They lied to the American people. They continue to lie to the American people. They perpetrated a hoax. They pushed conspiracy theories. They've lost. And Operation Crossfire Hurricane is now turned into Operation Boomerang. We will have full coverage of how Barr, Horowitz, Huber are about to upend the corrupt actors in the deep state, those that abuse power. They will bring equal justice and equal application of our laws to the American people. It seems tonight, finally, the Constitution and the rule of law will be followed. Also tonight, we have a major breaking news report, brand new from John Solomon, surrounding Bruce and Nellie Orr, who may soon be in serious legal trouble. Yeah, I think we predicted that too. But the Mueller witch hunt is over. Let nobody else fool you. They can talk about it till the cows come home. They can sit, go home, and their heads can spin around like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. They can projectile vomit this green stuff. It's not going to change the truth. And the second part of that is what we have diligently reported night after night after night for 2 years on this program. Our ensemble cast, I can't name everybody. There's not a lot of us. What Talk Radio, Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh, and a few others, you know, here on the channel, like Laura and Tucker and Fox and Friends. We've all been right. So many others have gotten it dead wrong. They missed the biggest story in their lifetime, and we can confirm tonight that criminal investigations are, in fact, underway in a major way. That is the headline, the biggest headline to come out of today, and I promise you no one else will report it. But not according to the Democratic and media mob, you know, the ones that are full of rage and psychotic hatred that, you know, borders on all things Trump. They're obsessing about Barr's contentious hearing on Capitol Hill, which could have, well, basically been wrapped up in about 2 minutes after these important questions. This is the money moment, if you will. Lindsey Graham. It says it all. It confirms what I just told you. Take a look.
Do you share my concerns about the FISA warrant process?
Yes.
Do you share my concerns about the counterintelligence investigation, how it was opened and why it was opened?
Yes.
Do you share my concerns that the lack of professionalism in the Clinton email investigation is something we should all look at?
Yes.
Okay. Do you expect to change your mind about the bottom line conclusions of the Mueller report?
No.
Do you think the president's campaign in 2016 was thoroughly looked at in terms of whether or not they colluded with the Russians?
Yes.
And the answer is no, according to Bob Mueller.
That's right.
He couldn't decide about obstruction. You did. Is that correct?
That's right.
You feel good about your decision?
Absolutely.
There you go. No collusion, no obstruction. And as we said, the biggest headline that no one in the media mob will ever tell you is how the Attorney General has confirmed today he is investigating FISA abuse, illicit spying, Clinton's rigged investigation, Clinton's collusion with her dirty dossier, the dirty dossier, Ukrainian collusion, and so much more. As a matter of fact, that is only beginning today. And there's so much. There will be a cascade, an avalanche of information. We're going to get to Lindsey Graham. He'll join us in a moment. But for nearly 24 hours, the predictable media mob is totally, completely apoplectic about a new report from the Washington Post and New York Times. Last night, Just hours prior to Barr's highly anticipated hearing, these two far-left media propaganda outlets lied again, conveniently granted access to a leaked letter from Team Mueller to the Attorney General's office that expressed frustration over how Barr initially summarized the report. Washington Post headline, Mueller complained that Barr's letter did not capture the context, the entirety of the Trump probe. But within their own reporting, way underneath the headline, they actually contradicted their own headline, and the actual truth emerged. According to a DOJ spokesperson, now confirmed by the Attorney General himself, the special counsel emphasized nothing, zero, in the Attorney General's 4-page March 24th letter was inaccurate or misleading. Nothing. But he expressed frustration over the lack of context. Oh, and the resulting media coverage regarding the special counsel's obstruction analysis. Oh, he's criticizing the media, too. Something Mueller and I have in common. This is how Attorney General Barr responded earlier today. Let's go to the videotape.
I said, Bob, what's with the letter? You know, why don't you just pick up the phone and call me if there's an issue? And he said that they were concerned about the way the media was playing this and felt that it was important to get out the summaries, which they felt would put their work in proper context and avoid some of the confusion that was emerging. And I asked him if he felt that my letter was misleading or inaccurate, and he said no.
Oh, so according to Mueller, it's the Attorney General's job to shape how the media reports a story? Really, Bob? Now, Barr followed up with this shot at Mueller's band of Democratic donors he appointed. Even the guy that was at Hillary's victory party, Mueller's pit bull, Andrew Weissman, with an atrocious track record. And, of course, that included the Hillary Clinton attorney as it relates to the Clinton Foundation. Take a look.
The letter's a bit snitty, and I think it was probably written by one of his staff people.
Did you make a memorandum of your conversation?
Huh?
Did you make a memorandum?
No, I didn't
or
make
did
a
anyone
memorandum.
else?
What?
Did anyone, either you or anyone on your staff, memorialize your conversation with Robert Mueller?
Yes.
Who did that?
There were notes taken of the call.
May we have those notes?
No.
No. You gotta love that. All right, let's take a moment to lay out the facts one more time because, well, some people just need to know where this is going. We're trying to educate them, and it's hard. They're so entrenched in their own conspiracy theories, lies, in their own mind. I think they actually believe their lies at this point. Mueller found zero evidence that anyone in the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. Mueller did not make a determination on obstruction. The Attorney General indicated these basic findings in his letter on March 24th. The Department of Justice then determined, yes, no obstruction took place, and on April 18th, Barr released the full report with only a few legally mandated redactions because of a law supported by Democrats following the Starr investigation into Bill Clinton. The Attorney General, he had no obligation whatsoever to release any of the Mueller report. That's the truth. That's the law. These are the facts. And as Senator Ted Cruz pointed out earlier today, the complaints for the left are totally absurd. Take a look.
So their entire argument is, General Barr, you suppressed the 19 pages that are entirely public, that we have, that we can read, that they know every word of it. And their complaint is it was delayed a few weeks. And that was because of your decision not to release the report piecemeal, but rather to release those 19 pages along with the entire 448 pages produced by the special counsel.
Yes.
If that is their argument, I have to say that is an exceptionally weak argument. Because if you're hiding something, I'll tell you right now, General Barr, you're doing a very lousy job of hiding it.
All right, the media mob, Democratic mob, they don't care about facts. They are driven purely by an agenda, by the way, not serving we the people, which is why they are now smearing the Attorney General, even calling for him to be impeached. It won't go anywhere, but take a look anyway.
Did the top law enforcement official in the land mislead Congress and the American people to protect the president?
He was being deceptive. He knew he was.
There was an ease with which Barr lied. There are contradictions, there are lies. It's a mystifying performance.
I think William Barr's credibility is really in tatters.
An attorney general who says Tuesday is Monday and the sun is the moon.
Pure political hackery, filled with lies, filled with misrepresentations. Now I think there are cases we can point to that will be, people will say, are perjury. What we have now is an attorney general who has presented himself in a way that's not really refutable anymore. He is fully, obviously corrupted.
Once again, the media is merely doing the bidding of their allies in the new radical extreme Democratic Socialist Party who are more interested in grandstanding and rage-hating Trump than actually legislating on behalf of you, we, the people. Take a look.
I think history will judge you harshly. Your credibility is undermined within the department, in this committee, and with the American people.
Mr. Barr, you seem to have learned the filibuster rules even better than senators do. I feel your answer was purposely misleading, and I think others do too.
Now, the American people know that you are no different from Rudy Giuliani or Kellyanne Conway or any of the other people who sacrificed their once decent reputation for the grifter and liar who sits in the Oval Office. You've chosen to be the president's lawyer and side with him over the interests of the American people.
Now, believe it or not, the fake news New York Times opinion page was even more melodramatic, where James Comey, well, theatrically exclaiming, quote, "Mr. Trump, eat your soul in small bites." I can't say it with a straight face. And the disgraced FBI director, who I said, you have the right to remain silent. I suggest you use it. You're probably going to regret not listening to me, inferring that the attorney general is now soulless because of President Trump. Perhaps it's time for Mr. Comey to finally wipe away his tears from getting canned and realize, Jim, the writing's on the wall. Trust me, you're in serious trouble tonight. Legal jeopardy. You abused your power. I know you think you're a super patriot, but a lot of the FBI rank and file that I know are embarrassed by what you did. He was the first FBI official to sign off on that FISA warrant to spy on the Trump campaign associate Carter Page. Oh, based on unverified, uncorroborated, bought and paid for Clinton campaign op research, and the New York Times is telling us may have been Russian disinformation. You signed off on that. He's the one that told President-elect months later the dossier was unverified. It's not what he said in the FISA warrant, and he said it was salacious months after he used the FISA warrant. Did he lie in October or did he lie in January of 2017, October of 16? He was the one who met with Susan Rice, President Obama, crazy Uncle Joe about the dossier after the election. Comey was the one who leaked government memos about his conversations with President Trump in order to spur a special counsel investigation. That might be a crime, even though he was the one that declared the president can fire an FBI director for any or no reason at all. He's the one who surrounded himself with partisan, corrupt, high-ranking officials who have all either resigned, been fired, or demoted. And now Comey is the one, along with his fellow deep state counterparts. The tables have now turned. There's a new sheriff in town. His name is Bill Barr. And he confirmed today the investigation into your actions, the deep state spying, and all the other shenanigans that happened, rigging Hillary's investigation, trying to bludgeon a president duly elected by we, the people of the United States. We now know Horowitz's investigation into FISA abuse, Huber's investigation into leaking, more investigations into Christopher Steele's bought and paid for dossier, paid for by Hillary, even Democratic collusion with Ukraine. They're trying to give us the evidence. Other probes into rampant unmasking requests carried out by Susan Rice, Samantha Power in 2016, a 350% increase. Criminal referrals are coming, and here. The United States of America is supposed to be a democratic republic based on the rule of law, a constitution. It is not a bureaucratic dictatorship where power is abused and used by a select few unelected, unaccountable officials. We give you these tools because we trust you to protect this country, not use them and turn them on the elected president of the United States or the American people. This is now time we either get this straight or say goodbye, USA. Because as Attorney General, Barr pointed out, our criminal justice system must never be used, ever used, as a political weapon ever again. Right, Jim? Take a look.
The report is now in the hands of the American people. Everyone can decide for themselves. There's an election in 18 months. That's a very democratic process. But we're out of it. And we have to stop using the criminal justice process as a political weapon. To the extent there was overreach, I don't want to judge people's motives and come to a conclusion on that, but to the extent there was overreach, what we have to be concerned about is a few people at the top getting it into their heads that they know better than the American people.
I've said it before. I will say it again. Jim Comey, super patriot. You have the right to remain silent. I suggest you kind of listen. Maybe you should stop writing op-eds, start looking in the mirror, and maybe beef up your legal team, which, by the way, you cleverly did with people that might have testified against you. Pretty smart, clever.